fencing fanatics, Coach Jason here with episode number 2 of our short book review series. Today's book is Fencing Steps to Success by Elaine Cheris. I think I'm saying that right, Cheris. She was a 3-time Olympic fencer, founded her own club, of course, and currently 74 years old, I believe. So a little bit of street cred there for her as well. This book, we're going to jump about 30 years from 1969 to 2002. So a little bit more modern. It's 150 pages long and is actually still available on Amazon. So the relevance of this book is fairly high. Of course, it has pictures of the old guard. That's forgivable. A lot of the older books do. Even being in 2002, it still has that. It does address modern Olympic style fencing, electric fencing, and she speaks about the preference of the pistol grip over the French grip, especially for foil. That, you know, there's still some plenty of épée fencers that prefer the French grip because they can get a little bit more distance with the grip, put their hand further back. So the relevance of the book is pretty good, and the drills in there, we actually do quite a few of them here as well. Not only drills, but some of the exercises like the tennis balls, target boards, the glove drop. These are all illustrated in this book. So relevance is pretty good. Action. One thing I really like about this book is at the end of each chapter there are goals and checks and difficulty levels. So she lists things to do in a sequence of exercises and drills that you can do with either alone or with another fencer. And so you kind of mark your progress and track your progress as you go through this book. So that's something that I don't think I've seen in any of my other books. Action. The content of this book is fairly basic. It's very basic footwork, some compound actions, parries, that type of thing. It does not discuss strategy at all. That's kind of I would have expected a little bit more talk about strategy and what's going through what can be going through your mind and how to address certain situations, especially from an Olympic fencer. So I was kind of surprised that there's no strategy in this, but the technical aspect, this is a highly technical book, and it does that superbly well. What did I learn from reading this? Honestly, it being very basic and very technical, there wasn't a whole lot, almost nothing that I didn't already know from this book. I've read this before. That's how I got this done so fast. And so I've actually adopted some of the drills. We do some of the drills here in the school. So as far as technical, and terminology and things like that, not really. But on page 55, she said something that I'd never heard before, and I thought it bared repeating. And basically, she says that fencing is nothing more than a game of mistakes. The person who makes the fewer mistakes wins the bout. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I thought that was genius. I might have to put that somewhere up here on the wall, I think. But personally, because I've gotten coach certification, I've been fencing for so long, I pretty much knew everything that was in here. The point of this book was to be technical and for beginners. So I don't think it has a whole lot to lend to the seasoned fencer or the experienced fencer, but definitely for a very new fencer and anyone with only a few months of training. It's an easy read. It's only 150 pages long, as I've said before. So having said all that, do I recommend this? Yeah, I recommend it for a beginning fencer. If you've been at this for a little bit, it really doesn't have much to lend to your knowledge base, but for a brand new fencer, absolutely. So you're probably wondering, how did you read that so fast, Coach? You must be a voracious reader. Well, actually, like I said, I've already read this book, so I went through it again. And actually, you'll see, let me find a couple spots here. I'll probably zoom in on this, but I've circled the paragraph here. And that's not something that I recently did. I did it here as well. There's a big circle. I think there's a big X. There's something here. I did that on my first read. Now, do I necessarily, here's a good one. Bouncing, and I got a big line through it. Don't bounce, right? I've changed my opinion on that a little bit since I've read this years ago. But so anyway, back to what I was saying. Do I condone writing in books? Definitely not first editions, but I learned somewhere along the line in high school, probably from the literature, probably one of my literature teachers or something, about writing in the margins of books. And so I take notes, and a lot of times in the books that I read, Again, provided they're not first editions. If they're just reprints, it's okay for me. I'll write cross-reference notes. Like I'll say, oh, Aldo Nadi said this about this particular thing on page so and such of his book. And Nick Evangelista said this. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So anyway, I've got a substantial little library of books. My oldest book is actually from the 19th century, and I'll showcase that one a little bit later on. And it's a first print. So yeah, I'm not picking every book in my library, and I'm not just randomly picking books. This isn't just a random choice. I pretty much already know which ones I kind of want to recommend or not recommend to you and put in this little short web series because I've read them already and I know what they have to offer. So what I've been doing is just going back through them again and seeing any notes that I read and then compiling my own thoughts for these videos. So, hope you enjoyed it. Take care. There's a part, can't talk now. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Olympic fencer should have put some strategic stuff. I'm criticizing an Olympic fencer. Probably shouldn't put that in there. That's okay. I don't know her. You know, I would have put strategy in there. Like I could do any better job writing the book, right? Man, I say a lot. I really do need to stop saying